Hello, everyone. Today we continue to our live stream series of Daire Online with the talk titled Artist in Residence Programs and Open Studio. This online talk is also part of the Daire Artist in Residence program coordinated by K2 Contemporary Art Association in Izmir. Daire aims at building capacities of public institutions and civil society organizations in Turkey in the field of art. By enhancing good cooperation among relevant parties, it encourages their active involvement in policy and decision-making processes. The project is realized with the partnership of Nomad Mind Association in Izmir, Troya Culture Association in Çanakkale, Hatay Metropolitan Municipality, and Center for Contemporary Arts, SCCA, in Ljubljana. The project is conducted in 9 cities of Turkey: İzmir, Çanakkale, Hatay, Istanbul, Sinop, Diyarbakır, Mardin, Nevşehir, and Mersin. It is supported by the Turkish Republic and the European Union. Within the first period of Daire Artist in Residence programs, workshops have been practiced in 9 cities. Productive processes started between the artists through online and physical interactions. We have also completed a series of online experience sharing talks with the artists, local contacts, and partners involved in the project. Now, I would like to introduce the participants of today's online talk. Anya Sver, Head of Dobravaga Gallery and Project Manager of Visual, Audiovisual, and Intermedia Art at the Kunashishka Center for Urban Culture. Helena Tahir, the first artist to use the Open Studio in Dobravaga in 2016, and she works mostly in the fields of painting, drawing, photography, and graphic arts. Lara Plavchak, representative of SCCA, Center for Contemporary Arts, Ljubljana, our colleague. And of course, Ayşegül Kurtel, the founding president of K2 Contemporary Art Association. We will talk about the mission, current, and past programs of the Dobravaga Gallery, and we'll discuss possibilities of residency programs in the times of COVID-19. First of all, I would like to ask Ayşegül Kurtel to introduce the Daire project to us briefly and talk about the current situation of our artist in residence implementations. Ayşegül Kurtel, please.
Thank you, Recep, for this introduction. And big thanks, of course, to Lara, SCCA, and Helena and Anya for being here today for this talk, the discussion we will be doing. And our project, Daire, is based on artist and residency programs, but as if we have known, we will end up with a lockdown for a virus. I hope we won't have it again, but our residency program was an experimental program, not to have an artist in the space for a long time. It was like a field work in the residency space in the city for 1 week. And then we planned to have a longer period between the first phase in the cities for the residency and until the end, the final finishing up of the project. We proposed that artists would be in contact online because we were thinking it's not easy for an artist to stay in a place for a long time. So that was also an experimental artist in residency program, which we have done during this European Union funded project. So for us, it was an interesting coincidence to end up having this lockdown at the same time. Eventually, we had to change a bit, but normally our program did run because the artists were in contact after this first compact period that they were through during the residency programs we had in 9 cities. And it was an important interaction period with the city they have been in, and also with the people and artists who are living in that city, which is, what artists in residencies usually ends up with these interactions. And of course, the artists being there also created this platform for interaction in the city as well. So today, I'm sure Anya will tell us a lot about their residency programs. And SCCA, of course, is very precious for us. It's been a long time. The first time we collaborated with Sasha Nabergoj, my very dear friend. She has been the curator of the Portis Mir 3 as well. And SCCA is also experienced in creating these possibilities for artists in residencies. And Helena, thank you so much for being here today to exchange your experiences in this matter also. So maybe we can, of course, we would love to hear all the experiences, but maybe later on during this discussion, we might maybe discuss about new ways of artist in residency programs after this, the lockdown we have been through, and nobody knows what will happen in near future also. So maybe we might create new ways of creation in art and also interacting each other through virtual platform also. Thank you, Recep, for giving me the floor, but I would love to hear our guests, of course. So I give the word to you back.
Sure, thank you very much. Of course, some hardships contribute to the creativity. Yes, it's a forced creativity, but still it's a creativity. We will see what will happen in the near future, but our working habits dramatically changed because we are in our closed circles now, but open to the world more than ever. It's a dilemma, but with a benefit. But also, it has a cost because you have to work all the time, unless you have a good planning of your day. So, I mean, as cultural managers or actors in the field, we are affected dramatically, but artists feel it more dramatically, and most probably they will reflect their emotions or their experiences in their productions in the near future, and we will witness it as the audiences, natural audiences of the artworks. So now I would like to ask Lara to introduce herself briefly and then continue with her questions to our participants, and we will have an interactive discussion afterwards. Yes,
okay.
Lara.
Okay, so yes, hello, welcome, and thank you to all from my side, from SCCA. Short introduction from my side. I work as a curator and as a writer. And I also used to be part of the Dobra Vaga team, so I know their program quite well. And first, shortly, I will make an introduction about Dobra Vaga, but please, you can anytime interrupt me with a question or comment if I forget anything. So yes. So Dobra Vaga is an exhibition and project space, a commercial gallery and open studio that focuses mainly on the production of younger generations of artists. The gallery was established in 2016, as previously mentioned, as part of Kinoshishka Center for Urban Culture. The gallery is located in the center of Ljubljana, next to the river, in a former fish market beneath Plečnik's arcades, and it is really an idyllic view if you visit it. And Dobra Vaga actively encourages different artistic initiatives through many local, regional, international projects, while working with people in public institutions, the NGO sector, and individuals in the field of culture. There are a few main programs there. One of them is our Artist per Month exhibitions, where they invite artists who are maybe in the beginning of their career path to exhibit there. There is also the Zine Vitrine section, which combines a zine collection with more than 400 items, monthly exhibitions, DIY workshops, an international zine open call, which might be interesting for your public, and the sales program. You can also browse the zines in Dobra Vaga's public library, and I think Anya is maybe there right now. Are you in the library, or
no? I'm not. I'm in the Artist per Month.
Okay.
Right now. Before, yeah, I was there, but now I'm here. Yeah. But I can make a walk after or during the talk.
Okay.
You know, it's a possibility now. Yeah, with these streams.
Yeah, maybe later a short tour, if we have enough time. Well, the last but not least program in Dobra Vaga, which will also be our today's focus, is the Open Studio program, which offers a new opportunity to young artists with no space of their own. And it can be used for up to 3 months, I think, by authors of contemporary visual arts, regardless of their medium of expression. So this is a really short introduction from my side. I think we will open up enough questions to ask Anya and Helena. And I will start by asking Anya if I forgot anything important, and maybe tell us more about how the Open Studio program works in Dobra Vaga.
Hi everybody. Thank you, Lara, for introduction. Also, thank you, Ayşegül and Recep, for your introduction. Yeah, Open Studio was the program was also established with the beginning of our gallery, Dobra Vaga, in 2016. And Helena, who is today with us, was our first artist in the residency. So in the program, we are focused, as Lara already mentioned, on the younger generation of artists, non-established artists who usually just finished their faculty or academy, their master's degree or bachelor degree in the art fields, and lost their working space basically here in Ljubljana, because in the academy and on the faculty they have their place, you know, to work on their projects, and after finishing the studies they lost this space. They have to move out, and it's already a difficult time for the young artists to start a career, I think anywhere in the world, and this is the program to help them a little bit with the space. They can stay in from 1 to up to 3 months, and they get also an artist fee up to 500 euros. They're not obliged to do any new project here in our gallery. It's just like we gave them a space to work on their project. So our goal here with every program that we have is to collaborate with artists in the long term. So also with Helena, we started in the beginning and we still collaborate. We recently collaborated on our group exhibition project for our anniversary, for 4th anniversary of Dobra Vaga Gallery. So yeah, in short, this is it about the open studio. Maybe just this, yeah, that open studio is not just for younger artists from Slovenia, from local area, but also for international artists, which I think happened spontaneously somehow. Last year, we also had an artist that contacted us because she found us on the web and wanted to collaborate with us. So yeah, that's it in short.
I wanted to comment that I don't know how it is from the artist's point of view, but I always kind of liked the premise that they were not obliged, the artists, to produce a project by the end of the, because I think that somehow releases the author of this pressure to in the beginning of their career path, their professional path. So I don't know, how did you feel, Helena? You were the first ever artist in the Open Studio program. What was your experience back then?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, the experience was really good. I honestly don't have anything bad to say about it. In the beginning, I was a bit scared because I didn't have so much experiences like this before. Also, I had some funny insecurities. Like, for example, I was a bit worried that it might be weird if people would look at me while I draw, because it's an open studio. But I'm really happy that I was actually thinking of not accepting the offer, but that would be a bit stupid. I see that more clearly now. I'm really happy that I did, because it's turned out really well for me. And so, yeah, one of the things I really liked about Dobra Vaga was people who work there. So they are people my age, and we got along pretty well. We had coffees in the morning, and yeah, I really got this sense of belonging. So that's nice. And also, as you've mentioned before, the gallery, it's in a really beautiful location in the city center. So it's next to the river Ljubljana. And I remember like my morning walks to the studio every day. So it was quite nice. Yeah. But I think the most important thing was that Dobra Vaga started my career somehow. So I think I had only one exhibition before. So I got a lot of opportunities to show my work there. So I showed my work in the beginning when the gallery opened, and a lot of people came. So that's also a good thing, because you're very well connected with the local scene. And then also I showed my work in the end of my stay. I had a solo show, and you also connected with some other local galleries, and I had some other shows because of that as well. And yeah, so many good things. You also connected me with some important Slovenian magazines, so I got some really nice articles about my work. And you bought my work, one of my works, and you paid me to have a free studio. So I mean, it's really nice. And I think a good thing was also that all the shows were paid. So I was not used that to make money from my art that much. So that was really nice. And also, as you've mentioned before, what I find really nice as well is that we somehow stay connected, and you still invite me for exhibitions. I participated in the last 2 group exhibitions in Dobrovaga, and I still feel like home when I go there. So thank you for that.
This was just too nice, Helena.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, but you started the topic that this was maybe one of the first such projects that you took part in. And I wanted to ask you if you took part in any other residencies here or abroad after, or you said you didn't do it before, so afterward.
Yeah. I mean, I think I did one similar project before. I did some similar things, but I cannot even compare them to Dobrovaga. It was so different. It was mostly short-term residencies or symposiums. So it's a completely different concept. And I mean, for me, it's really difficult to develop a quality work in a matter of, and if you have only a few days or even 2 weeks, it's just not enough, at least not for me, but I think for most artists it's not. But that doesn't mean that the experience was not nice, because what I found nice about these experiences was that I was able to connect with people. It was mostly group residencies, so I met people with similar interests, and we are still like in contact today. So that's really nice, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Anya, how many artists took part in the Open Studio program until now? I believe you searched for that number before.
Yeah, I searched for it, of course. It was around 25 artists, which, if you calculated, we are open for 4 years now and 2 months. So it's many more than just it wasn't 25 residencies. That is why what I wanted to say. It was less residencies, but some artists also participated and collaborated with us and were in residency together, because we have like residencies that artists applied or contact us with an ask to do a specific project, and it came really good for them that we give them this artist's fee, and they used it for the project, for working on project as a production cost. But as Helena said, yeah, we don't pay artists to stay with us, but it is meant, I see this fee as a spending money, you know, and as a residency fee, and yeah, they're not obliged to do a new project, but it is very welcome to for them to show their work in our other programs, like solo exhibition like Helena did, or in Zine Vitrine, Zine Vitrine exhibition. So yeah, 25 artists, yeah. And out of these, 7 of them were international artists from abroad.
That was my next question. If you are open for international artists, and if you do open calls for the Open Studio program.
Yeah, I believe that this year we actually did a first open call for artists. We planned to do 2 different open calls. One, it was finished. It was for the Slovenian, for local artists, for younger generation of artists. And this was finished and closed just before the quarantine happened. And just before we actually closed our gallery for 2 months, it was permanent, it was closed for 2 months. We also planned to do a separate open call for international artists, and this is like a new residency program. It will happen in the frame of open studio residencies, but the artists from abroad will get also, we will organize accommodation for them in Ljubljana, because otherwise until now we had just like really a studio residency. This is like specific about our residency program. It is local, it is mostly for local artists who live in Ljubljana and really need not accommodation space in Ljubljana, but really a working space. So yeah, first open call we finished. And I can mention later about our special program that was rearranged and reformed during the quarantine. What is concerning the international artists, yeah, we collaborate with them. They contact us, or they usually live in Ljubljana for several months. They come here to study or to exchange, study exchange, or they just work here in Ljubljana. And yeah, we collaborate with them. Maybe during some festivals that we run, as is Comics Festival, Tinta, 2 residency artists were in our open studio, and we're already collaborating within this festival. So
maybe we can jump right to the thing that you already mentioned, the adjustments of the program during the lockdown. Yeah, you mentioned that you had to close the gallery for 2 months, but the open studio program was still running. Can you tell us more about how you appropriated the program still?
Yeah, it happened like we just finished, as I said, the open call. We already had a jury day, and we selected the artists that applied for our open studio. And then this thing happened, and we were looking then again in the artists that applied to really suit the residency for the artists that can work from home. So we changed our open studio from open studio in Dobra Vaga to residency at home, and we were in contact with them also on Zoom meeting and on social media through some sharing stories on Instagram, to presenting their work on Facebook, our Facebook profile. And we started on, I think, 15th of April, with these residencies. And this was like experiment. And the good thing was that we could collaborate with 2 artists at the same time. Otherwise, in our gallery, we have just one open studio space. And yeah, we collaborated with Sara Bezosek and Jaka Juhant. Both are young Slovenian artists that work with photography and that do their work mainly on the computer. So this rearrangement, I think, was really suitable for them. But now we are back, and they also got the space here in Dobra Vaga after we opened from May to end of September. Yeah, they will be here. So we were thinking how to still run this program, and how to offer the artists also this artist fee that probably came good for them, especially in these difficult times when all the residencies that are usually international were cancelled for the artists. A lot of my friends, also artists, lost their residencies and or were stuck up in other countries. Also, that happened. Yeah, so we went online, and it was a good thing to happen, I think. Yeah.
I believe, like you mentioned it, and as Helena also said, that one of the good things for Open Studio Residency is actually this social platform that you meet other people. So I think it's really nice that you stayed in touch with those artists in residency at home. But I also want to ask Helena how did you as a freelance artist face the lockdown? How were you affected? Were there any, I don't know, what did you face with any postponed exhibitions or anything?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the lucky ones, I guess, because I didn't get so badly affected by it. A little bit, yes, but not so much. I had this big solo show in Magaloza in printmaking center, and which just ended before Corona's situation escalated. So that was good. That was good. I had another solo show in the end of May. This was a bit of a funny experience because we didn't know if it will happen or not. Like nobody could tell me that. So it was a bit weird to do projects without a deadline or assurance of that exhibition will happen. But yeah, so I think it's good. It's important to have some kind of discipline to do stuff, even though you don't know if it will happen. So I did that, and in the end, we actually opened the exhibition, although without the actual opening. And it was quite nice. What else? It might affect my future plans, though. I'm a bit scared about this. Like this year, I'm planning to participate at the Vienna Contemporary Art Market in Austria. So it would be a bit disappointing if it will not happen. Also, I have some solo shows, and yeah, it's just a bit scary, to be honest. Also, I don't know what the future will bring, but I'm trying to stay hopeful.
Yeah, I understand. I believe like the precarious position of artists became even more insecure. So
yeah, it's already insecure enough, and now it's even more. So yeah, it's really scary. I've been thinking a lot about why I chose this path of an artist lately. Like it was, but I'm not feeling sorry, or I don't regret anything. But like just sometimes I feel like I would like to have more security, but I guess you cannot have everything. So I don't know. Let's see.
yes, and your artistic practice also takes a lot of time. You when you draw, you pay a lot of attention to the detail. I don't know if the audience could see it from the photos, but so I applaud you for your working skills if you manage to have this discipline even in this insecure times. So
that's true. I hope, I mean, I'm not sure if I will be able to do that forever, but I will try my best. Yeah.
And Anya, one of the projects that you managed to do during the lockdown was also the big project of establishing the online shop for the gallery. Can you tell us more about how you manage that, and also what we can find there, what people can get for themselves?
Yeah, our gallery, as you, Lara, mentioned in the beginning, in the introduction, is not just presenting artist production on view, but we have also a commercial program. This is the artists' works that are on sale are part of our curated exhibitions, group exhibitions, and we have a huge selection actually of works. For us, it's huge because it's every year it's bigger, and few of them, not all of them, you can find on our online store. This time of quarantine and of the lockdown and closed gallery was like the best opportunity actually to work on online store. One thing is that during this time, being online, also if you have like a commercial program, is really needed, you know, otherwise you don't have any income. Anyway, we don't sell art for our profit. We were established to help and as a base for artists, as Helena also mentioned, that all the shows and the project were also financed. Also, this commercial part of selling art is more for artists, because we have just like the percentage which goes to artists and which goes to our institution is 80 to 20, so 80% of the price goes to the artist. Yeah, and online shop was really needed. It wasn't so hard because the team of 8 girls that work here in Dobra Vaga during the night become almost jobless, you know, working in this culture sector. They are almost all of them are still students, and the students were from our government also the least they got the least like spending money and help from the government during the quarantine. So I really feel the urge to still connect them to our and involve them in the project that happened during the quarantine. And online shop, yeah, seemed like the perfect project for this time, and we managed it. It lasted a bit longer, of course. It seemed easier in the beginning, but yeah, now you can find it on our online webpage, dobravaga.si. And you can find there now, for now, graphics and works on paper. And later on this, in autumn, we will put on sale on the internet also the works that are already framed, because for now we started with not framed art, and also paintings and bigger works by the measurements. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you opened the online store last week, and you already sold the first pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. And people are coming. It was unimaginable, because we usually have tourists who just pass by and buy things, or local people, you know. So I imagine that local people will still come to our store and buy things. But now we got orders from whole Slovenia, and people coming to our gallery and saying that they saw this on the online store and that they want to see it in person. And we don't have exhibited all the works that we sell. We have them in our depot and in our storage space. And now it's easier also to go through art that we have on sale. And it's some different logic I see now of buying online or in person. As we are selling some artworks that are great, but in the gallery when they were looking them, I don't know, we sell some pieces that are already for 3 years in our commercial program online, like the next day that we opened, you know. So it's a really different presentation of artworks online. And it suits to some techniques or something. I don't know. It's, yeah. Or maybe you see it just like as it is, without, you know, on a blank paper or on a blank white web page, without any details around or other artworks. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how you manage that, because I believe that maybe the culture of buying artworks is still like developing. It's here in Slovenia. I think it's like for regular people to have artworks, original artworks in their homes. I think it's slowly being accepted more and more. So yeah. And you mentioned before the Dobra Vaga team, and also Helena mentioned before. Maybe you can tell more about that, because yeah, Dobra Vaga also encourages not just young artists, but young curators, art historians, philosophers, students to gain their experiences in the art world in Dobra Vaga. Yeah. So maybe you can tell us more about your team, Anya.
Yeah, we have. It's for right now is just 8 girls, and yeah, they're all doing and collaborating and are involved in doing our programs. So as a student also, I worked in many galleries here in Ljubljana with different institutions, and it was always very, very hard to get some more experience than just sitting in a gallery and being a guard for the exhibition, or having a tour guides or kids workshops, you know, and things like that. And I think this is also a problem with the studies of art history in Ljubljana, that at least it was in my time. I will speak now just for my time, like 15 years ago. We didn't had any praxis during our studies. I think this changed now, but still this praxis is 14 days long, and you don't know what you will get. And here in Dobra Vaga, we offer young art historians, philosophers, young artists to collaborate and curate exhibitions. It's also their first touch or experience with curating usually. And we all get better and better when we collaborate, and we all are together some kind of mentors, young mentors to each other. It's really Dobra Vaga, not just Dobra Vaga's team, but Dobra Vaga in general is based around building a community. And this was very much seen also in our fourth anniversary 14 days ago. Yeah, we had this opening of new exhibition, and during the night it was the government came out with this one of their brilliant ideas about visiting the events, and it was like we could get just 30 people in the place during the night, and we expected around 150 people, and still 250 people came to the opening. So
maybe
and
even
it
more.
was really or even more, yeah, and it was really a community that works with us, that collaborate with us, that support us, and that we support them. So this was really, really nice to see.
Maybe for our audience, just a quick word about your international projects. Like there are so many of them, so maybe you can choose what to talk about, maybe of the hook or appointment, maybe, which might be interesting to artists who are viewing, listening.
Yeah, we have few of them. We have the international projects when artists from abroad or groups from abroad come to our space, to our gallery, and we exhibit them. This is usually for the anniversary, but not this year. And we then have the project of the hook. That's also happening. It happened for a fourth time last year, when we take local artists abroad, and every year we go to different city, to different gallery. First year it was Berlin, then it was first year was Maribor, and then was Berlin.
Yeah,
Maribor, Berlin. What?
Sorry, the same exhibition, I believe, traveled.
Yeah, travel there. But then it was Berlin, and it was Budapest, it was Vienna last year, and this year it should be Milan. But this won't happen, unfortunately, during the situation right now. And they are all also curated. These shows are group shows curated by our team. Every year it's a different curator, young curator. Sometimes it's even their first curated show, but it's easier, I think, because they all know the artists. The artists are from Dobra Vaga, supported by Dobra Vaga, and it's easier probably also to start like that, to curate works of artists that you know and work with them on the monthly basis already. And the next project that you mentioned, Lara, also is Appointment. This is the big exhibition project that happens during the music festival that is organized by Kino Šiška, the Center of Urban Culture. And we connect, this year we invited 78 artists, international artists, so from Slovenia and from abroad, and we connect them with music bands that are a part of this music festival in Ljubljana. And they do visuals, like posters inspired by their music. So we connect them actually with the music of these bands, not with bands in person, yeah. And it's a commercial project. This is probably the most commercial project in Dobra Vaga, because it's also sold like it's affordable art actually. The prints cost around 15 euros, and but the experience of artists, we always get really good response to this project. Yeah, and we usually also get to know during the appointment, when we invite new artists, we get to know new artists, and this is also how we build our basis, or our group of artists.
Yeah, and usually this project also gets more media attention than the visual arts and exhibitions in general. So it's it can be a starting opportunity for an artist. Yeah. So maybe I think we covered almost everything. I now ask you for any commentary or questions or anything you would want to add. My last question to both Helena and Anya is if they have any, mostly for Helena, if she has any suggestions for such programs as residency programs, how we who organize this kind of things can make it better for people who actually take part and use it. So maybe this for Helena. And I had a question for Anya, but she actually answered, like, what is your plan for the future of Open Studio?
Yeah, but I can add something after Helena talks.
Yeah, so I think it's quite simple. Just don't take your artists for granted, you know, that's all. Yeah, because I've been traveling a lot, and I've been living in another cities, and I've met a lot of artists on residencies, and a lot of them were quite disappointed. Like some of them even paid for their residency, and they were taken completely for granted. And some of them were also quite lonely, and because they didn't help them to build social circles, and it was quite difficult to work for them. I mean, yeah. So I think, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe it can be like a really lonesome experience if you are just left to yourself for like 1 month. Yeah. And Anya, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we were thinking about what will happen with international residencies if this pandemic crisis lasts for the whole year or even next year. We just applied for one grant. Hopefully we will get it. Otherwise, yeah, we will try to manage to do the program that we applied, and this international program with Palestine and with Slovakia. And it's about it's for artist residencies. And we will, of course, thinking about how to realize these artists in residencies if some artists couldn't come, for example, from Palestine. It would be harder probably to come to Ljubljana or to Košice in Slovakia. And yeah, we started to think that artists can stay at the residencies in their hometown or home country, actually. And we are we are connected during the on the Zoom or on the Skype, and we have regular meetings, and we organize also meetings between artists, you know. So I know this is not something really new, or but I think that we have to think about this, these things and opportunities like this. And Ayşegül, you mentioned before that you also had some experimental residency program when, if I understood correctly, that artists stayed for 1 week or 2 weeks with you, and then they went back home and they return in the end of this project, right? So you probably have already some experiences with staying or connecting with artists during their residency projects online. So how was I'm really curious, how was this with you, with your program?
Yes, actually, I was it's so good to listen what you've been doing. I was very impressed because it's a very important mission the Open Studio have been doing, Dobrovaga, to create the platform for artists after they are finished with school. That was what we aimed when we started with K2 as well, because in Turkey, in Izmir, especially where we are located now, in the university, some of the students, even when they are ready to graduate, they prefer to stay in school, not to graduate because they had studios and all. So it was first, before answering your question, I want to congratulate you for this project you're running. Open Studio is as a very essential. And I'm sure you already have the answer of it. You know, you have reached a lot of success with the artists, as I hear Helena also. She appreciated the program, and I wish you good luck. I wish you could, you know, especially for the financing issues. I had a few questions, but you know, then I heard that you do, you know, selling, and I'm sure you are also supported by international funds. And I was also wondering, I have a few questions. I'm sorry I started, but asking, and I was wondering if municipality and government also is funding your project as well, before I answer your question.
Yeah, the municipality is the main financer of our program, and this is why we can run actually this
is
project.
Actually, yeah.
And this is why we are not so commercial, even though we have commercial programs. Yeah.
This is very important. This is now what we are aiming in Izmir also. We are discussing with the municipality if that we might, you know, help organizing such programs here in Izmir as well, because it is a great help for artists to have this platform for a communal work. Is very important to create the community, as you say, for international and local artists to come together, to compare themselves with others and see that they are good also. So because it's very important to have the self-confidence for artists. Before I answer your question. Yes, about residency programs, as I mentioned earlier, it's in K2, of course, we have started K2 to create space for artists that they can work. It was not created to have accommodation also, but of course we worked with international institutions which could fund artists for that. But during our experiences with the residencies, we realized that it's not easy for an artist to stay in a place for a long time, because they usually have their own studios, their programs, but it's important to be in another space for experimenting this, like a field work, to be in another place, to work with other artists, to collaborate is very important. So we thought maybe we could manage like a 3-phase artist in residency program where we do like residencies in different spaces. We arranged for this European Union funded project. That was our project to create residency programs in 9 different cities in Turkey. Not at the same time, of course, in different times, related with artists' own schedules. Also, we made the schedule, the whole program. And then to promote the collaborative work as well, the collective work, we had 4 artists from different cities which have never known each other before or haven't worked together, even if they have known. So they had the opportunity to stay in another city, 4 artists together, and collaborating with the artist initiatives in the city, and also collaborating or meeting, interacting with the local artists as well. And that was very productive, and that was a very important experience for us as an institution, and also for the artists when we spoke with them afterwards. And we were there also to make it easy to with logistics and all. We prepared all in advance, and it was very productive. As you have said, the artists were not obliged to come out with an artwork as well. We did not ask for a production because it's not fair. I agree with Helena. Is when you say you need to do something, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit the art understanding. But there's a reflex. You know, artists usually produce something, and if they did want to produce, we had the funding for production fee, and also to make it possible if there was anything they wanted to do for production. And of course, we had a lot of wonderful productions, even in 1 week of time. But that was, as I said earlier also, it was like a field work. And they had a lot of, like they collected a lot of material or information or visuals or sound, videos, and a lot of material. And then we proposed that they, you know, all 4 artists for each cities went back to their hometowns. And until the end of this project now, which we have planned to do it in June, unfortunately, we can't do it now in June, but we hope to do it in September now, to have all the artists in Urla. We have a residency space in Urla in the middle of pine forests. We have bungalows for artists for residency. So we'll have all the artists in the Urla breathing zone, we call it. And then after all the time in between the field work and the time they will be all together in Urla, they already have matured a lot of experiences they shared in between. And even not only with the 4 artists and the cities they've been in, they have been exchanging between the other cities also, because, you know, we had special programs to bring them together, and they knew each other through this program, and they have already known these artists. So it was very productive, you know, in sense of creating and interacting and understanding each other. So, and now we are looking forward to being able to have the artists all together in Urla at the end of this project. And that will be an important experience for us to see if that would work. As I said, like we haven't, of course, nobody could know what we ended up having, you know, during this COVID-19 lockdown or quarantine period. But it was eventually that was the period which we were thinking the artists will be exchanging on virtual platform as well. So it did work, it's working. We'll see by the end actually. But we don't seek for a finished work. So the process is very important for us, as it is now all over the world for contemporary arts. It's not a finished work. Although I have a gallery as well, and you do. We end up having a work, but it's not necessarily. Artist himself, herself, is very important by their being. It's not. It's the artist himself who is there to interact, and so I think the artist in residency programs is very, very important in that sense. And whatever artist does, it may be a scratch or a small video or whatever comes out, or only maybe speaking. So that is a production. So whatever the artist comes out during this, through her microcosmic being moving around, I say it's a cloud, in a cloud moving around. So that's very important. So it makes me feel very excited. And whatever comes out now, of course, a video work, if it had been 50 years ago, or maybe by the 20th century, if a video work would be, now it's being sold. I know in Europe there are galleries who are only doing video work, selling in Turkey. Also, there are collectors who do collect video works. So I think this Corona lockdown period forced us to see if we could be, online as well. And of course, art has been digitalized for a long time, and we have been experiencing that. But now it's not good to feel the force over us to do it only on virtual, because I love to touch, and especially that was another question when you said you're selling online. I don't know how collectioners react to that. I'm sure they want to, see the artwork, and maybe, even touch or smell, they want, but it's not easy. But as Helena said, they have to, collectioners or institutions or governments or municipalities, they have to find a way to support artists and art, because art is the only platform that we can speak inside, because there's no other space of freedom that man can speak. I guess art is very, very important. Thanks to you, Helena, for choosing to become an artist. It needs devotion. You can't just say you'll be an artist and you'll be an artist. You have to have a devotion. And then every other person should do something to help art move on, I guess. And so thanks to you, Anya. It's a wonderful project you're doing, this open studio. And I wish now we will be coming to Slovenia, and I wish to come visit your space personally also.
Yeah, very welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think it's my turn. Yeah, it was really exciting to hear all of your experiences and comments and suggestions. Thank you very much for that. And I really agree, Helena, especially about the guidance, because when you imagine that you are inviting a guest to your house, and then you are leaving that poor person all alone in your house and the neighborhood and the city. Maybe it can happen in the Nordic countries, but not in our geographic territory, because we are very hospitable. We are trained for that. And I was responsible for the coordination of 3 cities within this project: Sinop, Istanbul, and Mardin. And the methodology of the project that we are implementing now is a new suggestion, but a very efficient one for artists in residencies, because first I went to the cities to introduce the project conceptually to the local potential partners, to the local art scene. We invited representatives from the public institutions, including municipalities or provincial directorates of culture and tourism, and then universities, of course, associations, independent initiatives. And during these talks, we had the first touch among each other. And then for the second visit, the mentor artist who will conduct the workshop in that city joined us, and we were there like 3 days long to get inspired by the ecosystem of that city. And we visited especially the venues of people who were at the introduction meeting when I was there. So the interaction got advanced, and finally we were there with the participating artists, and 3 for each city, and 1 more mentor, so it's 4. But for Istanbul, there was an exception, and they were 5 there. Anyway, then they stayed like a week there to get to know the city well, shop owners or independent artists or the municipality officials. So at the end of the process, or at the end of the week, they produced something. And as Ayşegül mentioned, it was not a must to produce anything, but in some cities it was a proper exhibition. In some cities it was a presentation. For example, in Sinop, it was a route, and artists went to the shop owners. They met during that week to say bye, but they were like sharing the experience of their time in the city, and they asked the question on how they were perceived by the shop owners. So this created an interaction, and they're now in their own studios. If there wasn't the lockdown, our methodology included that interaction on internet already, because we didn't offer a month or 3 months long residencies in cities, but we recommended artists to get to stay in contact if they want to do something together. And not only the artists who participated in the workshops stayed in contact, but also the artists they met there, living and producing in the cities, or university academics. They are all in contact. And of course, we were aiming to develop a big network of contemporary arts in Turkey, but we went beyond it. So now we are in a very lively network, and it is also seen by the numbers on YouTube, because we also see these talks, online talks, as an archive to reflect the recent situation on contemporary arts and new developments. And I mean, when you are in a physical venue with the audience, it might be limited to some numbers, but when you're online, it is exposed to the world. And we receive very positive feedbacks about these talks, online talks, which stay on YouTube. And we also interviewed all the artists involved in this project during their workshops, residency workshops in the cities. and there will be a long documentary about it, also individual videos, which will also have will be a tool for sharing the experience more with the outside world. So yeah, I mean, this project is one of its kind because you hardly see contemporary arts projects to be supported by European Union because of the uncertainties in it. But despite all the uncertainties, we have solid outcomes of this project, thanks to all the artists and our partners involved in it. I hope this will be a good example for the fund providers or funding structures, international ones, that they can support contemporary arts. They shouldn't fear about it because it's recent, it's today, it's actual, it's what is happening today, and it can be supported, yes. So
good message.
Yeah,
good
of course, always. Do you have anything to add before I wrap up? Okay, then
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you all. We will continue
Thanks
our online talks tomorrow with two mentor artists. They were conducting workshops in Sinop and Mersin. So it will be an interesting talk. And we are planning more talks with Lara in the near future. We will announce it when everything is certain. So please continue following us. And we will be in good touch with each other.
And I would like to use this platform to invite Anya and Helena to our breathing space in Urla. And Lara will come, I suppose, to the closing event anyway. But I would love to host Helena and Anya, both of you. Maybe not for the closing, but anytime later for visiting and staying with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a short teaser for our next online talk from Slovenia. So when we talked about Open Studio and Dobra Vaga, we mentioned how important the social aspect is. And then our next project for our next online talk, we will have a different kind of residency where the focus is mainly on solidarity and time to breathe and create. So this is a short teaser from my side.
Looking forward to it. So I'm, with your permission, ending this very valuable talk. See you later. Bye.